What would you do if you saw something life-threatening on a complete stranger? One hockey fan's split-second decision, a scribbled message on a phone, would unravel a medical mystery and spark an incredible act of gratitude. Nadia Popovich, a bright and compassionate 22-year-old, had always been a Vancouver Canucks fan. Growing up in Canada, hockey was practically in her blood. Her family cheered for the Canucks religiously, and Nadia inherited their passion. However, life took an unexpected turn when she was accepted into a pre-med program at the University of Washington in Seattle. This move meant a significant shift, not just in her academic life, but also in her hockey allegiance. Seattle, a city buzzing with anticipation, had just welcomed its own NHL team, the Seattle Kraken. Nadia, wanting to embrace her new home, decided to support the Kraken, a decision that would, quite remarkably, alter the course of a stranger's life. Nadia's personality was a blend of keen observation and genuine empathy. She had a habit of noticing the smallest details, a trait honed by her medical aspirations and a personal experience with a family member who had battled a skin condition. This experience fueled her interest in dermatology, a field she hoped to specialize in one day. She carried this meticulous nature into every aspect of her life, often noticing things others overlooked. On the other side of the ice, so to speak, was Brian "Red" Hamilton, the assistant equipment manager for the Vancouver Canucks. A man in his mid-40s, Brian was the epitome of dedication and hard work. His days were a whirlwind of preparing equipment, ensuring the players had everything they needed, and managing the logistical complexities of a professional hockey team. The pressure was constant, the hours long, but Brian thrived in this fast-paced environment. He was known for his meticulousness, his attention to detail mirroring Nadia's own, albeit in a different context. Brian was a quiet, reserved man, focused primarily on his work. He might have appeared a bit stern on the outside, but those who knew him well understood his kind heart. His life revolved around his job and his family, his wife and young daughter, who were his biggest source of motivation. He often worked long hours, sacrificing personal time to ensure the team's smooth operation. The stage was set at the Climate Pledge Arena in Seattle. It was the opening night of the NHL season, a highly anticipated game between the newly formed Seattle Kraken and the established Vancouver Canucks. The arena was packed, a sea of roaring fans creating an electric atmosphere. For Nadia, it was a bittersweet experience, a clash of her past and present loyalties. For Brian, it was another crucial game in a demanding season, a chance to start strong. Nadia, luck would play the cards, had secured tickets remarkably close to the visitors' bench, the area reserved for the Vancouver Canucks staff and players. It placed her in an unusual vantage point, a position that would soon prove pivotal. Meanwhile, Brian, oblivious to the life-altering event about to unfold, had been experiencing minor, seemingly insignificant health issues. He'd noticed a small, oddly shaped mole on the back of his neck a while back, but the relentless demands of his job had pushed it to the back of his mind. His wife had even urged him to get it checked, but Brian, ever the stoic, had brushed it off, attributing it to stress or simply dismissing it as nothing serious. He promised himself he'd see a doctor eventually, a promise that kept getting postponed. As the game unfolded, the energy in the arena was palpable. The Kraken and Canucks battled fiercely on the ice, each play met with roars of approval or groans of disappointment from the crowd. Nadia, despite her divided loyalties, found herself captivated by the spectacle. However, her attention kept drifting towards the Vancouver bench, specifically to Brian Hamilton. It wasn't intentional at first. It was more of a subconscious observation, a flicker of something unusual that caught the edge of her vision. But as the game progressed, Nadia's gaze returned to Brian's neck repeatedly. There on the back of his neck, just below his hairline, was a mole. It wasn't just any mole. It had an irregular shape, uneven borders, and a mix of colors that didn't seem right. Nadia's medical knowledge, though still in its early stages, kicked in. She recalled the ABCs of melanoma: asymmetry, border irregularity, color variation, diameter greater than 6 millimeters, and evolution change over time. This mole, even from her distant vantage point, seemed to tick several of those boxes. A growing sense of unease settled over her. It wasn't just a casual observation anymore. It was a potential warning sign. Her initial attempts to get Brian's attention were futile. She tried calling out, waving her arms, but the roar of the crowd and the thick glass separating the stand from the bench made it impossible for him to hear her. Frustration began to build, mixed with a mounting anxiety for this stranger's well-being. She felt a sense of helplessness, knowing she had potentially crucial information but unable to deliver it. Then, an idea sparked. Nadia pulled out her phone and quickly typed a message. She kept it concise, direct, yet respectful, knowing she had a very limited opportunity to convey her concern. The message read something like, "The mole on the back of your neck looks concerning. It might be cancerous. Please get it checked by a doctor." She added a note of urgency, emphasizing that early detection was crucial. Finding the right moment was crucial. Nadia waited patiently, her eyes darting between the game and Brian. Finally, during a brief stoppage in play, she saw her chance. She held her phone up against the glass, the message displayed in large, clear font. Brian, initially engrossed in the game, noticed the glow of the phone out of the corner of his eye. He turned, a puzzled expression on his face. He saw Nadia, her eyes filled with a mixture of concern and determination. He read the message, his brow furrowing. He glanced at Nadia, then instinctively reached back to touch the back of his neck, his fingers probing the area where the mole was located. He looked back at the phone, then at Nadia, a flicker of understanding and perhaps apprehension crossing his features. The game resumed, but for Brian, the world had shifted slightly. The message, delivered in such an unconventional way, had planted a seed of doubt, a nagging worry that he couldn't ignore. After the game, amidst the chaos of the post-game activities, Brian made a point of finding Nadia. He approached her, a mixture of gratitude and curiosity in his eyes. "Thank you," he said, his voice slightly hoarse. I saw your message. What made you notice?" Nadia, relieved that he had acknowledged her, explained her observations, carefully outlining the characteristics of the mole that had raised her concerns. She emphasized that she wasn't a doctor, but she had enough knowledge to recognize potential signs of melanoma. She urged him to see a dermatologist as soon as possible. Both of them were visibly moved by the unexpected encounter. It was a strange, surreal moment, a connection forged between two strangers in the midst of a hockey game, a connection that could potentially save a life. Brian expressed his sincere gratitude, promising Nadia that he would take her advice. Meanwhile, Brian's mind went on replay of the past. He remembered those words from his wife, pushing him to visit a doctor, and he brushed it off. He did not want to worry his family, especially his wife, further. But now, a stranger has made more impact, and that was enough. He promised himself, and Nadia, that he will go for a checkup. True to his word, Brian Hamilton scheduled an appointment with a dermatologist shortly after the fateful hockey game. The encounter with Nadia, however brief, had left a lasting impression. The seed of doubt she had planted had taken root, growing into a persistent concern that he could no longer ignore. The initial consultation was a blur of examinations and questions. The dermatologist, a seasoned professional, examined the mole on Brian's neck with meticulous care, using a dermatoscope to magnify the skin surface. The doctor's expression, initially neutral, gradually shifted to one of concern. A biopsy was ordered, a small sample of tissue taken from the mole for further analysis. The days that followed were filled with anxiety for Brian. The waiting was agonizing, the uncertainty gnawing at him. He tried to focus on his work, to immerse himself in the daily routines of the hockey team, but the looming possibility of a serious diagnosis hung over him like a dark cloud. He confided in his wife, sharing the details of the encounter with Nadia and the subsequent doctor's visit. Her support, unwavering as always, was his anchor during this turbulent time. The call finally came. The biopsy results were in. The dermatologist's voice on the other end of the line was somber. Brian was diagnosed with malignant melanoma, a particularly aggressive form of skin cancer. The words hit him like a physical blow, leaving him breathless and momentarily stunned. However, there was a crucial caveat. The melanoma, thanks to Nadia's early detection, was caught in its early stages, stage 2. While still a serious diagnosis, it meant that the cancer had not yet spread deeply into the skin or to other parts of the body. The prognosis, though uncertain, was significantly better than if it had been discovered later. The treatment plan was aggressive, designed to eradicate the cancerous cells and prevent any recurrence. Brian underwent surgery to remove the mole and a surrounding margin of healthy tissue. This was followed by a course of immunotherapy, a treatment that harnesses the body's own immune system to fight cancer cells. The treatments were challenging, both physically and emotionally. Brian experienced fatigue, nausea, and other side effects, but he faced them with a quiet determination, fueled by the love of his family and the knowledge that he had been given a second chance. Throughout his treatment, Brian kept Nadia's contact information. He sent her occasional updates, expressing his gratitude and sharing his progress. Nadia, in turn, offered words of encouragement and support, her medical knowledge providing a reassuring presence during a difficult time. A unique bond had formed between them, a bond forged by a chance encounter and a shared experience that transcended the boundaries of a hockey game. The months that followed were a testament to Brian's resilience and the effectiveness of the treatment. Gradually, his health began to improve. The cancer, caught early and treated aggressively, went into remission. Brian's follow-up appointments showed no signs of recurrence. He had weathered the storm, emerging stronger and more appreciative of life than ever before. He realized the profound value of his family, his friends, and the simple joys of everyday life. He also understood the incredible impact of Nadia's actions, the selfless act of a stranger who had potentially saved his life. The Vancouver Canucks, learning of Brian's story and Nadia's pivotal role, were deeply moved. They, along with the Seattle Kraken, decided to express their gratitude in a tangible way. They contacted Nadia, informing her that they were jointly establishing a $10,000 scholarship in her name to support her medical studies. A special ceremony was organized during a subsequent game between the two teams. Brian, Nadia, and representatives from both organizations gathered on the ice. Brian, his voice choked with emotion, shared his story with the crowd, highlighting Nadia's incredible perceptiveness and her compassionate act. He presented her with the scholarship, a symbol of his profound gratitude and a testament to the power of human connection. Nadia, overwhelmed by the outpouring of support and appreciation, accepted the scholarship with humility and grace. She spoke of her desire to become a doctor, to use her knowledge and skills to help others, just as she had unknowingly helped Brian. The story of Nadia Popovich and Brian Red Hamilton is more than just a feel-good anecdote. It's a powerful reminder of several crucial life lessons. It underscores the importance of vigilance, compassion, and the unexpected ways in which lives can intersect and profoundly impact one another. First and foremost, the story highlights the critical importance of regular self-checks and early detection in the fight against skin cancer. Brian's melanoma, though aggressive, was caught in its early stages thanks to Nadia's observant nature and her willingness to act on her concerns. This emphasizes the need for everyone to be aware of their own bodies, to pay attention to any changes in their skin, and to seek medical attention promptly when something seems amiss. The ABCDs of melanoma, asymmetry, border irregularity, color variation, diameter, and evolution, are not just medical jargon. They are potentially life-saving guidelines. Second, the story is a testament to the power of human kindness and empathy. Nadia's actions were driven purely by a desire to help a stranger, with no expectation of reward or recognition. She saw a potential problem, and, despite the awkwardness of the situation, she chose to act. This selfless act, born of compassion and a genuine concern for another human being, had a life-altering impact. It underscores the profound difference that even a small act of kindness can make. Third, the story highlights the value of knowledge and education. Nadia's pre-med studies, though still in their early stages, provided her with the basic knowledge to recognize the potential signs of melanoma. This knowledge, coupled with her observant nature, allowed her to identify a problem that might have otherwise gone unnoticed. It emphasizes the importance of education, not just for professional advancement, but also for the potential to make a positive impact on the lives of others. It reinforces how valuable even basic medical knowledge is. The fact that this all unfolded during a chance encounter at a hockey game, with Nadia supporting the opposing team, adds another layer of significance. It highlights that good things, even life-saving interventions, can happen in the most unexpected circumstances. It shows that opportunities to help others can present themselves at any time, and that even seemingly small, insignificant moments can have profound consequences. The story of Nadia and Brian quickly spread beyond the confines of the hockey arena. It was picked up by local and national media outlets, captivating audiences with its message of hope, resilience, and the power of human connection. Nadia became an overnight symbol of kindness, perceptiveness, and responsible citizenship. Brian, having faced his mortality, became a passionate advocate for skin cancer awareness, using his platform to encourage others to get regular checkups and to be vigilant about their health. The scholarship established in Nadia's name served as a lasting legacy of this extraordinary encounter. It not only supported Nadia's aspirations to become a doctor, but also inspired countless others to pursue their dreams and to make a difference in the world. The story, in its essence, is a reminder that we are all interconnected, that our actions, however small, can have ripple effects that extend far beyond our immediate sphere of influence. It's a call to be more observant, more compassionate, and more willing to step up and help others when we see a need. It's a story of hope, resilience, and the extraordinary power of human connection, a story that will continue to inspire for years to come.